Today we're kicking off part 2 of the Nissan GU build series. In this episode we're going to be decking out some of the interior of the rig. We've got a heap of different bits and pieces to go in. They're not all here today yet, but I'm going to start on what we do have. We got seat covers, dash mat, seat organizer, center console. Start running through them all and getting it underway. Proudly supported by OUTBACK equipment and in part by. First thing I'm going to do is pull out these sheepskin seat covers. As awesome as they are, they make you itchy and they are very, very hot on a hot day. And I got no seat covers on the rear one, so we got front and rear seat covers to go in and make it look a whole lot better, and obviously protect the seats. Old ones out, we'll just tidy and cleaned all up a bit, and then we'll whack these new ones in. Seat covers we went with are the RAZORBACK ones. They're the same one I run in the nav and absolutely loved them. They are a neoprene, and yeah, it's just to protect the seats so you don't wreck the seats. When you're out full driving, I'm always getting in the car dusty and muddy with water on me, various things, so you quickly wreck the factory seats. Being neoprene, they can handle the water and mud really well, and if they get bad enough, you can just pull them off and wash them.
How people say women can't do anything. You know, I've done mine and you're like, how do these go on?
There we have it, all installed. Definitely looks much better throughout this car with the seat covers installed. They feel really comfy. Much nicer on your skin than the sheepskin ones that we had in here before. They are custom made to fit the Nissan GU Patrol, so everything obviously matches up perfectly. All your holes and buttons and everything match up where they need to go. I reckon it is worth investing that little bit more money into getting custom made seat covers to suit your car. I have had generalized ones before, but they're so loose, the seatbelt holes aren't where they're meant to be, and then they just seem to always be falling off and all over the place. But yeah, super stoked of how these came out. We'll install the next couple of things. Next thing we got to go in, nice simple one, but it's just a dash mat. When we were away a couple of weekends ago in the rig, when we're sitting in here on the hot day, you notice the dash just gets so hot and it feels like you got a heater blasting at you nearly. So it helps keep the temperatures down coming off this dash. And then obviously just protects it as well from getting ruined from the UV and the sun and all that, and just makes it a little bit nicer, I think, visually, and allows you to sit stuff up on there a bit easier if you need to. So you do have some adhesive sticky things that you stick it down with. We just got to work out the best spot to put them. There it is, all down on there. It is custom tailored made to the GU Patrol obviously, and you got your that flap there's for the airbag. Fits perfect in there, nothing too fancy. You guys probably like, wow, who cares, it's a dash mat, but I want to try and show obviously everything I'm doing to the car. This one came from OUTBACK equipment, I got it from there. Next bit that's going in the interior is a seat organizer. I'm going to put it on the back of the driver's seat because that way when I hop out I can access it all here. Actually, I didn't say, the RAZORBACK seat covers have a compartment here to put stuff in, so it's a bit of an extra one, but I'm going to put this on the back of the driver's seat. I have one in the nav as well, and yeah, it's just unreal for keeping all your bits and pieces in that you can easily access. So I'll put like a handheld radio in it, some head torches, bug spray, some sunscreen, all different bits and pieces. I just find them really handy for organising your stuff. It just clips on. You got one that goes around the headrest, and the other one shoots around the bottom of the seat somewhere, and then obviously folds back on your seat like that. One of the things when we went away on our trip a couple of weekends ago was storage in this car. It was a bit painful and there was just things everywhere. So little bits and pieces like your rear seat organisers or front seat organisers do help with that sort of stuff, because it's just a place to put all your little bits and pieces. Another thing I've got is a fire extinguisher, very important to keep in your four-wheel drive in easy reach and access. What I want to do is work out a good place to mount this with a bracket for it. So if anyone's got any ideas for that, that'd be awesome. But yeah, definitely going to keep the fire extinguisher handy. And I think it's even more important with petrol engines because they run much hotter. I think there's a bit higher risk there of fires. With those fire extinguishers, they recommend you be able to reach it from the driver's seat, I think, because if you're in a crash,
You did.
and you're like stuck in your seat, you can get the fire extinguisher out if the fire ignites somewhere nearby. I'll just quickly show you, that's the same seat organizer I got on the back of the nav there. As you can see, I got it chockers full of stuff. Another thought I just had as well is I need to get some floor mats for the back and the front. These are just your factory Nissan ones. They're not very good when it comes to like sand and mud and water when you're off-roading. So I might have a bit of a look into that tonight and see if I can find some good ones online. Gonna finish up for the day there now. We didn't start this till like 5:30, so we're gonna go have a bit of dinner now. But yeah, that's already made a massive difference to the inside of that car. It's looking 100 times better. Alright, we're back again. We'll continue the setting up of all the interior of the GU. What I'm going to do now is a new center console install. Now you're probably thinking, what do you need a new center console for? You got one. Well, if you own one of the GU Patrols, you'll know that they are pretty crap from factory. There's a few problems with them. First one being, these are the only two cup holders in the car and they fit no cup that I'm aware of or drink bottle. Like this is a thin drink bottle I have, and it still doesn't fit in there at all. Now you can pull these out, but it still doesn't fit. So that's an initial problem. There's nowhere to actually fit. Coffee mugs don't fit there, like drinks you buy at the shops, milkshakes, nothing fits. Second thing being, like, you've got a couple of mismatched, mixed compartments that you can't sit anything ever. Like I go to sit my phone somewhere, like it sort of fits there, but then it always just like ends up falling out. There's nowhere really to sit sunnies or spare keys or your wallet, so there's not really any good compartments here. The other thing being, I've got these nice new seat covers now. This doesn't really match in, and it's a bit like old, and all the paint's sort of flaking away a bit here, so it'll be much nicer and suit sort of it better. And the new one has some cool things on it too. This is the new unit here. It comes from Horizon 4x4 Touring Products, an Australian company. It's just sort of handmade in Australia. It's obviously a much nicer, sleeker unit. Nice big cup holders in it to fit your things. A couple of nice compartments here to fit your phone, sunnies, wallets. Some switch compartments there so you can put like light switches, locker switches, whatever you want in there. And a nice big open area down in here to fit a heap of gear too. Try to balance this on the scales here as best I can to get a bit of a weight on it. Then I'll weigh the old one when it comes out too, just out of curiosity. They don't claim this to be any lighter. I don't know what the weight of it is, but the scales are saying about 6.5 or just over, so I'm interested to see the weight of the old one when it comes out. I just quickly moved the car because there were so many birds above me in that tree, and every time I go to try and talk, the birds just be like squawk, squawk. So hopefully the bird noise is a little bit lower down here. We'll get cracking on this though, pull all these things out. Comes with an instruction booklet of everything you need to do here. There's a fair bit of it, but yeah, I'll just work my way through it and give it a crack. I moved the car right down next to Dad's plumbing truck just there as well, so I'll be able to take over all his tools for this job. Looks like the first few things we'll be doing is bolting some of these accessories onto that one to get it ready to go in the car. First step is to drill our cup holders into position. So sit them in place, get your drill, your screw, and we're just going to mark the base of it there, and then we'll do the same on the other one. Pop those cup holders back out, and then we'll finish drilling this hole. That's going all the way through. Now do our other one. Now just using a Phillips head screwdriver, we're going to screw them back in. The reason being, if you drill it in and you keep going past its grab point, then you're just going to strip out the plate area where the screw goes into, then it'll be all loose again. So just do it by hand, a bit safer that way. That's the back one in. It says to leave the front one out because I think you need to access that for when you install it in, and then we can just screw that other one in once we're ready. The next thing to do is, if you are putting any switches in here, get them ready with the wiring and feed them through, and then bring them out so that you don't have to do it once it's installed. But I don't know what switches I'm going to put here yet. I don't have any to go there. So they come with blanking plates, so I'm just going to blank them out for the moment, and then when the time comes, I'll work out what switches I want to use and put in there, and I'll just have to do the setup for it while it's in the car. We'll start following the instructions to pull this old one out. I've got the 3 screws out of this, 1, 2, 3, and now it's loose to come up, but it'll come over the auto gear shifter, but I need to unscrew the low range 4-wheel drive one. I'm just not 100% sure how to do it, but I'm thinking it just screws off. It's just very tight. I don't want to break anything. From what I've worked out, this definitely unscrews anti-clockwise, but I can't seem to get it to budge by hand. So I may have to put a tool on it, but I'm just wondering what I'd do to not damage that, because I could put like some big multis or Stilsons or something on it, probably unscrew it. I just have to protect it.
And it's just not quite squarish enough for it. No, you've got a big body glue to get. Is that it?
Yeah, something just snapped.
Yeah, well, that...
Absolutely a pain in the ass to get this gear knob off. What we ended up doing, Dad's here helping me, lifted it up enough to get the vice grips underneath to hold the shaft, put some tape on that to protect it, and then footprints on top, but I was just worried about damaging it, so got a stubby holder. I put that on, which seemed to protect it pretty well because there's no marking on it there, and that's just let go, because from what everyone said, they get glued on. So you got to get the glue to let go, but that's turning now.
That thing matches that way, is it?
Now once you pull it up, you just got to disconnect a couple of wires from under here. So that's that one off, and then I'll just figuring out how to pull this one off. As I said, like honestly, this stuff's all very new to me. I'm just sort of giving it a crack and trying to work it out as I go. Dad's been helping me definitely too. Not that he's not a car person either, but just being a plumber, you know, knows a fair bit about tool work and that sort of stuff, getting things on and off. Got to get this lid off now, which is just unscrew a heap of screws here on the side and down the middle there. There's our lid off. Got 4 screws on the back side now to undo. That's the back piece off, and then we got 2 more screws under here to undo. There it is, all loose. I'll just check the front, then we should be able to pull it out. Now that I've got the lid out here with me, it looks quite simple, so it's just going to be bolt the new lid onto this. This is set up for a series 4 apparently, because they only have two holes, 2 screws, but series 1 to 3 have the 3, so you just need to drill an extra one in there for that. I'm just going to mark out where this 3rd hole needs to be drilled here. Put a mark on that, then I'll be able to drill through with a 1/8 bit here. I just need to work out the exact size of those bigger ones and make that hole the same size. Looks like it's a 10mm hole. I just had to move in out of the backyard out there because it was starting to rain, so I'm just in under the shed here. That's that hole done. I'll just shake the bits of metal out of that. Just screwing the plastic levers / clips on. That's the lid all mounted up in place. As I said, use the pre-existing lid, but then it's got this that goes all over it, so it blends in and suits nice with the rest of it. The good thing is this is exactly the same as the seat covers, so it'll all match in much nicer then. That's the lid all mounted on. Looks like it's all together now. It's starting to look pretty good. So this is gonna, I think it's ready to go back in now. We just had to cut that back, so you got to trim it back to fit in with the new one. So obviously you got to make sure you get that right, because once you cut it there's no going back on that. But we think we got that all done properly, and I think we're up to mounting all the new gear in now. Put this plastic trim back in now, put this electric plug back in. Installing this in now, so you just have to cut the carpet a little bit, and then you put your mounting brackets on. So I got the first one here, which is now going to bolt into some pre-existing holes there under that carpet. It all fits in, which is good news. I can see the holes line up. Looks like I've cut it pretty well. There's a bit of a black strip here to go along just to tidy it up. Got it bolted down at the front. I still got to bolt down the back. Put this second cup in, and where did I put it? There it is. A screw for that. Put this handle back on. Just put a bit of thread tape on it there to tighten it up a little bit as it goes on, but we're definitely not going to glue it again in case it needs to come off. We did it. It's all in. It looks so much better now. I can't believe it. I knew it'd look better, but yeah, it just matches in and suits the whole front end a whole lot better than the factory one. And obviously it's nice sturdy metal product. We got actual cup holders now. We got, look at this, like we got a nice place. Phone fits in there perfectly, and you can put your sunnies and wallet and stuff in there too. Got a little coin compartment there, and then you open it up and you got a massive area in there for putting bits and pieces as well. All done. Took a while. Took a while, but and once again I'm finishing up nearly in the dark in the pouring rain here, but yeah, stoked with that. Back again a couple of days later. We'll keep going with the installs. Next on the list is a tyre pressure monitoring system. This is an ICHECK one. Now, if you saw in the first off-road trip we took the Patrol away on, busted a tyre, and these tyre pressure monitoring systems are really good for keeping an eye on your tyre, because we didn't realise till the tyre was completely flat and it was like on the rim nearly down the road. We fixed it on the spot, but the sidewall was all shredded up. We had to get rid of it once we got home. So these things basically give you a tyre pressure constantly when you're driving, and a tyre temperature as well. So that way you can just keep an eye on your tyres all the time. If they start losing air rapidly, it'll start beeping at you, give you a warning. One thing I like about this is it has a on-road and a off-road pressure mode, so you can set it on either one depending on what you're doing. That way, if you got super low off-road pressures, it's not just going to start beeping at you saying that your tyre pressures are too low, and then when you're back on the road, chuck it back on the on-road one. Open up this box, see what's inside. It says 5-minute DIY installation, so I'll see if I can get it in under an hour. All looks pretty simple though. It looks like there'll be a bit of a mat to sit it on your dash, so that's the monitoring screen yourself. You just sit up on the dash there. That'd read you out your pressures. And then this is a external system. So last time I used one of these tyre pressure monitoring systems, I used an internal one, meaning inside the rim and tyre. But these are just screw caps that sit on the outside of the tyre. So a bit of a different setup, but I'll be interested to see yeah, how this one goes compared to the other. There's our screen, we've turned that on, and then looks like we just go around and put these on the wheels. So you got 5 of them for your 4 tyres in your spare. They've all got a number on them. Work our way around the car and screw them on there. There they are, screwed on, and then that starts automatically giving you a reading. Nice and simple. I'm just going around checking all these pressures, because it's saying that that one was 35, which was correct. I checked it. That one was 26, which is correct. I checked it. It started beeping at me now because I've taken it off, so it's warning me that there's no tyre on the car. So if you ever lose your tyre or it goes completely flat, then this will warn you. This is saying 25, that's saying 26, very, very close. One may be slightly out, or maybe it's a slight difference there, but check that last one. This one's saying 28 on the tyre pressure monitoring system, and we got 28 there. And it's beeping at me because now it's saying 0. That's good though. I know they're all accurate, and I've just learned I need to pump my tyres up because one's at 35 and the rest are like 26 to 28. I didn't really properly pump them up again since we went forward driving because I'm just waiting on my new tyres to arrive. They should be here in a week or so. Now we'll just play around with our settings here a little bit so you can increase and decrease your high and low beep settings, like when it's going to say it's too high or it's too low. So I'm probably just going to set the high at 44 for on-road, and I might set it at, I don't know, like 30 for low or something on-road. So if I know if I'm down under 30, it'll let me know and I can pump them back up. Or the main reason being, like, you just sort of know what your tyre pressures are all the time, your temps, which is super handy. And if you've ever damaged a tyre and it's losing air quick, you can pull over before you wreck the tyre or, you know, cause an accident, something dangerous happens. So handy little system, good to go. And obviously, as I said, once I get the new tyres, I'm just going to change the gauges over to the new tyres. Alright, moved locations again. Had to duck into town to get some stuff for the next install. Last episode I was talking about putting treads on the roof rack, but I didn't have them yet. So I have the treads. I have 4 of them here. We went with like a gunmetal grey type of thing to match the car. And then the best way to mount these on the front runner rack is using M8 bolts with like your eyelid things you can just screw them on with. So you need 90mm M8 bolts that'll slot in your channel, and then you can just screw them on, and it links up, matches up perfectly with the holes in the tread. So chuck these 4 up and come in. That's it. And then they're on. And then that's them mounted up, so they're nice and sturdy there. You got your 4 M8 bolts and your eyelids mounting each one in place. Just the easiest way to do those treads, and it all matches up perfectly. You got them sitting nice and up the front there, and then you still got the rest of your roof rack to use. That's that done. On to the next thing. We have a rear table to install now. Actually down at G-Works, the guys to do my train canopy, because I needed a riv nut tool for the next job, which I didn't have, and I'm also going to use their shed out of this rain a bit too. Now you see quite a few people do this with the Patrols, make the most of this back barn door, I believe these are called, because you've got a nice big space here. And because I come from a ute, which used to have the tailgate and then the train canopy, which has like your easy slide out table, Patrol doesn't have anything like that. So I got this from a guy down in Melbourne. He's making them up himself at the moment, like just getting them cut up. Can't remember what it's called. Can't remember what it's called, but I'll put it up anyway, like the brand. PLATYPUS Off-Road looks like. First step is to remove all this back door trim off. So I just got one of these tools, trim removal tools things. So just going around popping it off now. That door trim cover came off. Now mounting up a plate here, which I assume is going to get used to mount the table in the corner here. Wrecking your car. Stopped it.
Dude!
Literally was ready for it.
Off to the wreckers to try find a new barn door. Yeah. Just mounting up that frame now, so match up your 4 holes, and that's all I've got to say. So I put the door trim back on, and now we're just finding the holes to mount your bracketry back on, and then we can put the table on itself. So that's it, the table's all on and installed now. So that's just on with a latch, so undo that latch, and down comes your table, which is awesome. You've got a nice little table here to use now. It is a little bit low, but once we get 20 inches of lift and tyres and everything else, then it'll bring it up, so it should be a good height. Forgot to put that door top trim on there, so I'll just pop that back in now, and then obviously everything's back in place where it originally was. There's no movement in it or anything there, so it shouldn't rattle while we're four-wheel driving. That's another mod done. Just moved the car in from outside because it was getting very wet out there, put in the shed here at G-Works, and the last thing we are doing now is the 270-degree awning. So I was talking about that in last video. We got the DRIFTA one, and we're bolting it onto the roof rack now. I'm pretty excited for this one. We're just doing a quick test run. It's just about ready to go on. So we're using the front runner brackets and then a few of the drifter nuts and bolts that came with it as well. So as per usual, you just got to line everything up and get it all in the right spot and make sure everything matches up. And then we can bolt it on. So yeah, you got nuts up there that bolts into that channel and bolt the whole thing on. Alright, we finished up pretty late there last night at G-Works. It's nearly dark, so I've popped out the bush today to finish off this video. We're going to set up this awning and check it out. Pretty excited. Now, I've never actually owned or used a 270-degree awning before. I just didn't really think it suited a small ute roof rack and the setup I was running. But on the big family wagon, where we need the more awning space, I think it's going to be perfect. First time setting it up, it always takes a couple of goes to get the hang of it. We'll see how we go. Rolls out. Grab all your bits out, start swinging around. And that's literally it. It's set up. So it's a fully freestanding one. It doesn't actually require poles. That's so cool. Look how much room there is under it. It's got 1, 2, 3 metal poles that stabilize it. Actually, that's like a little thing you can push up there to help the water run off it. And yeah, it's just fully freestanding, except if it's very windy, then you do need to tie it down. And then at the end of your metal poles, it actually has little mounts there. So you can put your sort of standard tent pole things on it to stabilize it further if you want it. And then it's got eyelids around it to tie it down with rope. Doesn't come with the tent poles, but I may even just grab one to sort of stabilize this outer end here. And then I believe you can get sidewalls for it too if you want to, but open up these back barn doors here, you're all undercover. You can pop your table down, make lunch here. That's a very quick setup 270-degree awning as well. Stoked with that, that's awesome. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, but super happy with that. But we'll have to test it out on the tracks a while and see how it goes, and out on the camping and everything. And then around the other side here, it just ties off onto your rack here with like a rope or whatever, and then pull it tight. We'll finish up that episode here. We've done more than enough mods for one video. I've written down all the prices, so I'll quickly run through that. Razorback seat covers, front ones $339, rear ones $299. They did help me out with them, and they gave me a discount code for 10% off, which is TYRE10 if you want to use that. Dash mat from Outback Equipment, $74. The seat, MSA seat organizer from Outback Equipment, $117. The center console from Horizon 4x4 Touring was $499. The tire pressure monitoring system was $249. The Tread Pros were $329 per pair. So what's that give you? 658, if my math is correct. I'll pop that up on the screen. The barn door table, $250. And then the awning was $990, but it did already put that price and mention that in the previous video. Not sure what all that adds up to, but I'll pop it up on the screen. One last thing, I did mention it in the previous video, but the weight of that awning is 16.8 kilos, and I just really like the design of it and how it's all sort of can be just set up freestanding like that, and so quick and easy. That's quicker and easier to set up, way quicker and easier than my standard awning, and can be easily done by one person with no issues at all. Alright, that's it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the Patrol build series. We got plenty more mods coming and plenty more videos coming, so I'll see everyone in the next one. We've got a heap of different things. To go in there, including. We've got a heap of different things to go in there, including seat covers. Is that good? Something like that. first thing I'm going to do is pull out these sheepskin. First thing I'm going to do is pull out these sheepskin seat covers. As cool as they were. First thing I'm going to finish up for the day there now, because it's alright. It's good. The other thing being now that this is the new unit here. It comes from, this is the new unit here. It comes from, it's got one of them broke.
Honestly, mate.
And then yeah, just well, we'll finish up that. We'll finish up that episode. We'll finish up that episode here. We've done it. We'll finish up that episode here.